Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there.
I'll put him up. He goes 31. I'll put him up in a second. Say your full name. DeMarco Smith.
One more time, please.
DeMarco Smith.
Mr. Smith. Okay, good afternoon. People versus DeMarco Smith, counsel.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Breaking on behalf of Mr. Smith, waive the formal reading, stand mute. He has been advised of his rights.
Thank you, counsel. The court knows formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Positions as to bond, please.
Your Honor, in this matter, the people are requesting a $5,000 10% with a tether. This was a traffic stop in which he had an assortment of narcotics, and he is currently on probation for a CCW that was pled down to a misdemeanor of improper transport on March 17th of 23. I also note he had a 2012 RCSP misdemeanor under HIDA. So for that reason, being on probation, I'm asking for that 10% bond, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, these are still allegations. Has been proven guilty. He's 30 years of age, Judge. He helps his grandmother who has dementia, his dad who has brain damage. He cares for them when he's not working. He works at IAC. It's a factory. He's in compliance, Judge, with the probation, with the improper possession situation down to a misdemeanor. I'm asking for, if the court can grant a personal bond, I am asking for that. This is non-assaultive in nature, Judge.
All right, thank you. The allegations here are non-assaultive, nothing assaultive in the history that I'm aware of. I'm not seeing a danger to the community posed here, nor am I seeing a flight risk, hearing that he has another case that he's seen through, sounds like almost to completion. He's on probation. I don't see him as a flight risk in terms of coming to court. For those reasons, this will be a personal bond in the amount of $10,000. Mr. Smith, you are not to purchase or possess any illegal substances during the course of your bond. That includes prescription drugs for which you do not have a prescription. Your next court date is May 8th at 8:30 a.m. for probable cause conference, May 13th at 8:45 a.m. for preliminary examination. Both of those are in front of Judge Jefferson. Thank you.
I got this printing. You get it all.
I'm sorry.
Bless up, ma'am. Have a blessed day.
You have a personal bond, sir. Okay.
I'll be back in 1 minute with Mr. Samuels, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Marquise Travail Samuels.
Good afternoon. People versus Marquise Travell Samuels, counsel.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Right on behalf of Mr. Samuels, Your Honor, waive the formal reading, stand mute. He has been advised of his rights.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on Mr. Samuels' behalf. Positions as to bond.
Your Honor, I find this case highly assaultive, even though it is a CCW and it does have an assaultive RNO, but this is a young man that is on the Wayne State campus with 4 guns. He was seen walking through the hallways. He's not supposed to be there. He's been told not to be there. He walked away when asked to stop. He continued walking. He then jumped on a parked car. He had 2 bags with him. He threw them over the fence. Eventually, he was cuffed and he resisted arrest. He threw a fist at the officers. They had to taser him. They found 3 AR style pistols in one bag, and I believe the other pistol in another bag. They were 3 of them were stolen guns. I do not see any ammunition that was recovered, although, Your Honor, this is what's troubling is all these school shootings, and here we have somebody that's not supposed to be on the premises in the hallway, told to leave, and there he is with 4 guns on his person, Your Honor. So for that reason, Your Honor, I'm asking for a $50,000 cash surety with tether house arrest. And of course, no contact with the campus.
Thank you.
So Judge, obviously, we hear what these allegations are, and they sound very, very disturbing, and obviously, what I have to talk about as well, as Ms. Coyle said, I don't see any ammunition. I see all these guns, but I don't see any ammunition, for the guns. Obviously, guns without ammunition don't necessarily work the same way, but I do understand the court's concern with just the guns, period, even without ammunition. I understand that, Judge, but I got to look at what we actually have and not what things actually could be. We have these guns, these empty guns. Obviously, resisting is and running allegedly is not something that you want to do. And I don't want to act like I know what happened, Judge, because I wasn't there. I'm reading a report just like everybody else is reading a report. But I do think he's 20. There are some issues that may be going on. I think a tether would do great. I think home confinement would do great. I don't think he has any other prior situations. I don't think he can come back to Wayne State. I think there's a no contact with the campus, but I think home confinement would do well here. So that's what I'm asking, Judge, because we don't have any ammunition. And my position, Judge, is that it's a combination of different things that has to occur. But I am asking the court for a very high personal bond, GPS tether, house arrest, where he can't leave the house.
So Mr. Samuels is alleged to have been inside a building on Wayne State University's campus with a bag full of guns. 4 of them, to be exact, 3 of them stolen. He had already been told twice not to be there on the campus. And all I could think in reading the investigator's report is, thank God that they had encountered him before, told him he wasn't supposed to be there, and recognized him and apprehended him. I'm aware that no ammunition was found, but with the amount of flight from the police in this case, quite frankly, I don't put a whole lot of stock in it. We have flight risk. We have dangerousness. I can see absolutely no reason for a person to be carrying a bag full of guns into a university campus where they've already been told not to be. I just don't understand. And it is frightening with what is going on college campuses right now. It is absolutely frightening. I will tell you, these are CCWs. If remand was available to me in this case, I would be remanding him because he's already been told twice not to be on that campus. So there's no order from me that's going to keep him from returning to that campus. And I have no faith that a GPS tether is going to keep him from returning to that campus. And when he returns to that campus, I don't know what happens next. So it's not going to happen on my watch. Bond is set in this case at $2 million cash. He will have a bond review hearing May 1st at 9 a.m. Probable cause conference, May 6th, 8:30 a.m. Preliminary examination, May 13th, 8:45 a.m. If he's able to make the $2 million cash bond, GPS tether, full home confinement. And he is not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of the bond. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back in just 1 minute with Mr. Pette.
Thank you.
Right back over. And on the black line in front of the TV, say your full name. Say your name.
What's your name? Good afternoon.
Pardon?
What's your name? What's your name, please?
Justin John Pette. Is this an
Thank you.
arraignment, ma'am?
It is an arraignment. You understand you have the right to have an attorney represent you at this arraignment?
Yes, I would like one.
You would like to have the attorney represent you? Then you're going to have to go in front of a camera and talk to them so they can get the information from you that they need to represent you, okay?
Can I actually speak? Is this a 72-hour hold, or I was placed on a 72-hour hold April 26th, Friday, for child support or charges. So I'm being charged on Sunday.
Mr. Pette, you're being charged with assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer, which is a felony. that has a maximum possible penalty of up to 2 years imprisonment and or a $2,000 fine. You also,
Okay.
however, have a habitual fourth offense notice, which would enhance your possible maximum sentence. So you should probably speak with the attorney so they can fully explain all of this to you as well as your rights. We can get you in front of the camera so they can do that. They can explain everything to you. And then
I
if
would
you
like
have
to be in front of a
information,
law judge, a real judge. If that's
okay,
the
well,
case.
you're
If
what
that's
I
the
get.
case.
I'm what you got today. So
That
this
is just
is, you're
Guantanamo.
going to,
This is
sir,
not
be quiet.
Guantanamo. Let's
Be
not
quiet.
speak over me.
Be
I
quiet,
will use
okay?
my voice.
Sir, you have the right to have an attorney represent you. You also have the right to speak at your arraignment. However, I've muted you momentarily so that I can explain your rights to you and ascertain whether or not you would like to speak with counsel. All right. DDC, go ahead and unmute.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Are we here
Mr.
again for
Pette,
another?
let's-
Is this
Mr.
an
Pette,
arraignment? Is this
Mr.
an
Pette,
arraignment? Yes,
I'm going to, Mr. Pette, be quiet for a moment. Okay. I'm going to be respectful to you and I'm going to give you a chance to speak, but I'm going to speak and then I will give you a chance to be heard, sir. But first, I'm going to advise you of your rights. Please be silent so that you can hear them as I give them to you. Okay? You have a right to remain silent. All right? If you choose to exercise your right to remain silent, no one can penalize you for that in the future. The prosecutor cannot comment about that in the future. You have the right to be presumed innocent until you are proven guilty, right? You have the right to have witnesses appear at your trial if you choose to have one. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to question witnesses. You have the right to ask the court to order witnesses to appear for you if you have someone you'd like to appear as this case goes on, all right? And you also have the right to testify if you wish to do so. Now, I've already told you what you're charged with, so I will now allow you to speak. You did hear that you have the right to counsel. DDC, go ahead and unmute Mr. Pette, please.
Go ahead and let's play the tape back a third time then, I suppose. Go
All
ahead and
right.
pause it. All right, let's start one more
Anything
time.
else you'd like to
Here we
say on
go.
your own behalf, sir? We're going to
All
move
right,
on to
do you not
arraigning
even
you.
know if this
Thank
is an
you.
actual
All right, I'm going to
arraignment?
mute you so I
Thank
can hear
you.
from the people. Madam Prosecutor, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
All right, we do not have defense counsel representing Mr. Pette today. Do you have a position as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, the people have no objection to a personal bond, but we're asking for tether house arrest, Your Honor. Based on the fact that he spit on an officer, arm and jacket. He was allegedly going in the backyard of a home. At this point, I noted in the APA's notes, they didn't charge him for the home invasion because they couldn't contact the complainant, so I don't know what's going to occur at that point. But I do note a history of a 2015 and a 2017 OWI third and a fleeing and eluding in there in 2017. For this matter, I'm asking for high personal bond tether house arrest.
Your Honor,
All right,
Your Honor, I would note that Mr. Pette did say that he wanted to have counsel. Can I ask him a couple questions prior to the court? I just want to make sure that Mr. Pette, do you hear me? You said that you wanted to have counsel or you do not want to have counsel.
What am I being charged with again, sir? I'm going to remain mute.
Okay.
I'm mute.
Well, listen,
Remaining
Mr.
mute.
Pette.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm standing mute.
Okay. Well, that's
This is an
being
official arraignment, I
quiet. That's
suppose.
being quiet, Mr. Pette. I just want to know if you want to have counsel because you have the right to counsel. If you do not, you also have the right to represent yourself.
I'm standing here at DDC, handcuffed with a bunch of NDOC men. I don't have counsel here. You asked me to stand mute. Should I be quiet? I don't know. Is this Guantanamo Bay?
Okay, Mr. Pette, what you're charged with is really likely to result in a personal bond despite all this commotion, and you can go ahead and get out of it. The only charge in front of me is assaulting, resisting, obstructing, noting for the record that they said Mr. Pette was cooperative when they first arrested him and kind of became more combative at the hospital. So I'm not seeing him as an overall risk to the community. Nor do I suppose there could be some flight risk here, but that can be addressed through the tether, as people have requested, to deal with any possible flight risk. And I do think there is some. I'm also doing the tether because I want to ensure that Mr. Pette does not return to the address where this is alleged to have occurred, and that if he does return to that address, we will know about it.
Well, how would I go about getting my property, since we are having a court date apparently on a Sunday in Michigan without an attorney present? Since we're doing that,
An attorney present, sir, would you like to exercise your right to have an attorney?
I have a sawzall, I have a Gerber knife there, I have a tent there,
What
I
we're
have
gonna do,
blankets
would you
there.
take Mr. Pette
I
to
go ahead
camera
and get my
2?
property?
Please, can you take him to camera 2, please? I'll bring camera
Man,
2 in so he can have
I don't care if there's
counsel.
100 cameras, man.
Man, I can't take him to
I know
camera
you
2.
don't. I know you
I didn't
don't.
break camera 2. I unplugged it because unfortunately this is like a Nazi country apparently.
All right, we're gonna go, I've got camera 2 in. I can put a breakout room with camera 2. And
No, camera 2
then-
doesn't work.
Johnny, he explained to you that he unplugged camera 2 and it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work anymore.
I've got camera 2 on the screen right now. It's working.
The video works, but not the audio. The audio doesn't work.
Audio is not working anymore, Judge.
Okay, because he unplugged it, okay. Do you have, well, if there's a risk of him then damaging camera 3, we're not gonna do that. All right. Mr. Reagan, please advise Mr. Pette of his rights.
Mr. Pette, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you, Mr. Pette. You have an absolute right to an attorney to represent you at no charge. Our office will represent you at absolutely no charge. We will represent you. We will listen to you. We will talk to you. We will go over all of your rights with you, and we'll go over the facts of the case with you today so you understand what's going on. You have an absolute right to have
I'll stop you right there, sir. Attorney Bill Reagan.
Let me just finish.
P5715.
I just want you to know you have a right to a trial by jury where the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you actually committed this crime, each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. But the most important thing you have, Mr. Pette, is right to a bond, a reasonable bond, okay? Where the magistrate can set either a cash bond or a personal bond. Cash bond, where you have to pay money to get out. Personal bond is where you don't have to get paid. We would be asking for a personal bond on your behalf, Mr. Pette, so you can get out. Or whatever other conditions the magistrate imposed on you. But we want to make sure that you understand this before, and talking is not necessarily a good thing because you say things sometimes that may be held against you. So we want you to kind of not talk about the case. Do you want our office to represent you today? Would you like for us to represent you?
I'm standing mute and I'm done here, sir. We are done here.
Okay.
All right.
Now, when you bring a law to
That's a no. All right, bond is going to be set in this case at $50,000 personal. Defendant will be allowed a one-time escort to get his belongings. Other than that, he is not to return to 17600 Fenton in Detroit, and he will be placed on a GPS tether prior to leaving jail to help ensure that. Next court date is going to be May 6th, 8:30 a.m. for probable cause conference, May 13th, 8:45 a.m. for preliminary examination. Both in front of Judge Giles.
Yeah, female side, just a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I